Sweetie. How are you doing? Okay. Oops. Ah. Okay. All right. Sorry to be a little bit late. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties there with some weird things of Facebook being weird. Not really a big surprise there that Facebook would be weird. So, yay, hi. Good to see you. Glad to be back. I feel like I missed you all last week with, was it Memorial Day was last week? It feels like so far away. So, hi. So I'm very happy to be back with you all. And I feel like I'm going to be happier to be back when I get my hair color back purple than less gray. So, all right. I do want to check in with an animal card today, and then we'll hop into some collective card readings. I don't want to spend a lot of time today in the astrology because wow, there's like a ton going on out there. Like Pluto is changing signs, and Venus is having a retrograde, and Jupiter is doing something, and we're still right now we're in the full moon of well, good morning to you in Australia, Belinda. Thank you for spending time with us in the morning. So there is just so much that is going on energetically. So we've had the full moon. We're still in the full moon energy. So this is the time of like the gut check of where are you in this moon cycle, and you know what's going on, how are you feeling, and like what, you know, are you on track to get where you want to go in this moon cycle of, you know, going forward and manifesting. I want to say right off the top, because we're getting a new roof, which is supposed to start tomorrow. And that may mean that we don't do meditation on Thursday. It will depend on if they're still banging away on my roof, because they're trying to get it done super fast. So we'll see what happens. All right, so stay tuned for that. So there's so much that's going on astrologically right now that it's just not even, like, it's more than I can even wrap my own head around. So it's not stuff that I can really, you know, spend a lot of time diving into with you all. But what I can say, what I can say is that there is, yes, and I totally get that, Belinda, feeling like we're going backwards, because we talked a lot about Pluto coming back into the solar system. And so Pluto is this very slow moving planet that's going to take like a month in every sign that we have over the next 12 months. And then now in this month, Pluto's going back into a retrograde, and then it's going to go forward again. And so then we have had, you know, Mercury that has finished its retrograde, but we know that Mercury retrogrades several times in the year, and that this is roofing companies. They're telling us 3 days for the roof. So they're telling us 1 day for the solar panels, but which will be the following week, I guess. I don't know. What I'm looking forward to is they're not ringing my doorbell at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, because nobody bothered to tell us that they were going to start. And then we had cars in the driveway, so they rang the doorbell at 6 a.m. and we didn't know they were coming on that particular day. And then they decided that they weren't actually, after they'd gotten us all out of bed and we'd moved the cars, they decided they weren't going to work that whole week because the weather was bad, and there was a tropical storm or depression or something, Arlene, that was coming to Florida that then turned and went towards Cuba. So I'm looking forward to not having my doorbell ring at 6 in the morning. So we'll start with that. Because now they've told us they're coming. So, at any rate, there's so much that's going on astrologically right now that it can feel very, I was going to say unsettling, and then my phone fell off the, sorry, Ethel, and then my phone fell off the computer. So there's so much that's going on, and, there's so much that's going on. Okay, there's so much that's going on that it can feel very unsettling because so many things are shifting. And planets that don't normally retrograde are retrograding right now. And so like Venus retrogrades very rarely, and yet here we go. Pluto has not been in our solar system, in our zodiac, because Pluto is so far. That orbit that Pluto has goes way on out, and like we're over here with all the other planets and the astrological signs, and Pluto's just now coming back in. So there is a lot of stuff that's shifting, that's changing. It can feel very unsettling. And one of the things that is coming up with this full moon and all these retrogrades, and we've talked about this before, about what is your purpose and what is your message? How are you showing up in the world? How are you wanting to put yourself out there? One of the things that was talked about in one of the podcasts that I listened to with Leslie Tagorda, she was talking about, I think it was Leslie, anyway, they were talking about that this is a time for writers as well, that, and it's not just writers, but this is the time for messaging. This is the time of sharing your message with the world. This is the time to get your piece out there of the part that you want to play. Now, we've talked about this since long before 2023, that 2023 was going to be the year about me, right? The year about you, about us claiming ourselves, claiming our message. How do we want to show up in the world? How do we want to participate? How do we want to what is it we are wanting or feeling called to put out into the world? And so as that is happening, this is also now coming to this sort of pinnacle point over this month of June, where that feeling of that, whatever that itch, that pull, that niggle, we talk about trusting the niggle that you may be feeling about, I've always wanted to do this, I always felt like I was supposed to do fill in the blank. This is that time where you are going to feel that niggle turn into an itch, turn into a shove, because especially if we're ignoring. So if you can spend some time, oh look, there's a spammer, you're banned, bye. So if you're a spammer, just go, because we don't have spammers here. So this is a time for us to really, make I want to say make sure, but I want to tell you to dive into what is it that you have been wanting to spew forth out of your heart, and you don't have to share it with somebody. It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to, put it out into the world. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're writing it for yourself. Maybe you're writing it because you feel like you need to get this out. Maybe it's something in you that is part of your processing and moving yourself to another level, that this needs to come out. So there's a message in you that is pulling to try and, like where magicians, they have that handkerchief and they pull and pull, and it looks like it's coming out of your mouth, and they just keep pulling. This is, one of the things that's really calling at us right now is, what is your message? Now, understanding that your message may just be for you. Maybe your message is for yourself and your partner. It isn't necessarily like a platform message, a message that needs to be shared with the world, but what is the message that you are feeling called to share? Even sometimes we have the need to say things simply because our brain needs to hear it. Okay, there's the part of the brain in the back of the at the base of the skull, right in the back there. Was that the hippocampus or the hypothalamus or the amygdala? There's the little part that's right in the back, right? That's the tape recorder. It's the tape recorder for your brain. Can you say tape recorder? I don't always say that anymore. It's not CDs, it's not MP3s. I guess it's MP4s. That's the recording device of your brain, right? I don't know if my kids would even know tape recorder. Yeah, they would. This is the recording device for your brain. It's right here, okay? It's back here at the base of your head, okay? And so anything that your mouth says or that your ears hear gets recorded in this little Library of Congress of your brain back here, And your brain goes, oh, okay, great, we got it, we got it. We don't like that person, check, we got it. We're going to feel agitated every time we see that person. Or we're worried about, this bill. Okay, great. Every time that bill comes in, we're gonna, we're gonna be worried about it. Or we have a belief, a limiting belief, like, oh, I can't, whatever. I was gonna say jump out of a plane, but for me, that's not a limiting belief. That is a fact, Jack. So I am not. Skydiving is not going to be in the cards for me. But it, I'm trying to think of a limiting belief. I can't lose weight. Or I can't. So this weekend I ran in the Pulse anniversary, which is coming up next week, for the Pulse Massacre in the 4.9K. It's not a 5K because 49 people were murdered, and so it's a 4.9K instead of a 5K. So I ran in that. It's only the second time I've done it. It's the second 5K I've run in probably a decade. And my goal, I had two goals. One was a timing goal and one was a distance goal. And I didn't quite hit either one, but I sure got close. And so there was, for a long time, a limiting belief in my head that said, well, I can't run a mile. I can't, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Chris. Sorry, Jamie SP on Facebook says, thank you for doing the 4.9K for our Pulse family. It doesn't matter how many years it is. It's still, it's still right there. It's, yeah. Okay. Hippocampus, tape recorder in the brain. Thank you both. When I have this limiting belief, like I can't run a mile. I've never really been able to run a mile. Endurance, as athletic as I am, and I used to be a dancer, and endurance was one of the biggest things I struggled with. It wasn't strength, it wasn't extension, it wasn't grace or any. It was endurance, which is your ability to keep going, your lungs' ability to keep going. And we don't think about our heart and our lungs like a muscle, right? It's, the heart is like, involuntary, it just goes. But the fact is that these are muscles, just like your quads and your glutes and your biceps and all the things. And so we have this muscle, and we have this limited belief, like I can't run a mile. And I have smashed that. I can run a mile. And this morning I ran 1.25 miles, but my goal was to run the 1.5 miles. What I realized in running with the crowds is I got a little bit lost in watching all the amazing outfits, reading everyone's t-shirts, and having to go in and out of all the people because I'm not a runner. Okay, that's probably a limiting belief. I wasn't in the front of the group with the runners, like my friend Ryan, who runs marathons. He was like, and like that. So I started about 4 minutes after the starting gun went off. And to be able to run, I see your comment, Jamie. I'm trying to not look at it to make me cry again. I'm going to look at it in a minute. And so I was kind of weaving in and out of the people who were kind of strolling and walking and trying to, to actually like make what my time goal was. But I think I ended up probably running 1.5 miles, just not necessarily in a straight line. But that had been a limiting belief. And so now I know through time and through really talking to myself and saying, well, you can. You just have to build up to it. You can run 1.5 miles. You just have to build up to it. And my running partner is like, that's great. When's your next 5K? And I'm like, in June for the next Pulse 5. He's like, no. Now you have to do more. And I'm like, so because he now is smashing limiting beliefs, whether I like it or not there. So we have these limiting beliefs. And so when we say something, our ears record it, and our ears hear it, and the hippocampus records it. And so the hippocampus makes this rule written into our code that says, oh, you can't do that. Great. No, we get it. You can't do that. And it's our job is to say things that rewrite those limiting beliefs. So I can run 1.5 miles. I may not have done it yet, but I might have, but I can do it. And so that's what I'm going to continue to work on. And so this isn't about my running goals, but this is about reprogramming our brain. And because this is what's going on with the celestial movements and Venus and Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto all moving around so much right now, and this full moon energy, that we are really being pulled and called to get our message out. And so I want to be clear. For some, that may mean the megaphone, and I'm getting on a platform, and I'm publishing the book, and I'm, doing a speaking tour, and whatever. I'm not doing those things, but that may be for some. But for others of us, getting the message out is about speaking the words, whether we're putting it on paper and we're reading it and we're like rereading it and editing it or whatever, or we're physically saying it out loud, something that we're getting the message out of this container so that the ears can hear it, so that the hippocampus can go, oh, rewrite the code, got it. We have to train our brain. And so a lot of the times when we are learning new things, we read it, or we read in a manual. Some people are auditory learners. That's great. Your hippocampus is always with you, always working, all the things. But for some of us that we're just like thinking about stuff, maybe we're writing it down. Like, I'm a big journaler. Sometimes you've got to say stuff out loud so that your ears can send that message to the hippocampus. The eyeballs are not as strongly connected to the hippocampus as the ears are. So there needs to be this message out. You can shout it from the rooftops, or you can whisper it to your partner. But it has to be something where your ears can hear it, so it can be written into the code. And so this is what they're talking about. This is what they want me to talk about. We're talking about this is a time of getting the message out. And one of the things that we've talked about all through 2023 was, how do we want to show up in the world? What are we wanting to cultivate and create? How do we want to connect with each other? But also, how are we connecting with our own self? So today, this is what we're talking about, is how are you connecting with your own self? Okay, let me read Jamie's comment. Pulse was the last club that you went to. No. You, my friend, did not make me emotional. A horrible thing that a horribly disturbed person made me emotional. Let me say this. I know that Disney ones are so much fun. I don't want to be down there at 2 a.m. I resist doing the Disney runs. My cantor, the woman who is the spiritual leader of our synagogue, she's amazing. She's a huge Disney run person. And going down to do the Disney runs where you have to be in the crowds at like 1 or 2 in the morning, I don't, that's beyond my bedtime. But to be able to run through the parks would be a lot of fun. But there will be others. But you know what, Jamie? Keep me posted. If you're signing up for something, let me know, because apparently now I'm shopping for 5Ks. I wouldn't even know how to start doing that. So, all right. So the part about this, and I encourage you, there are some other really great clubs that, it's important to get back out there. It's important to stay connected to your people. And that's one of the things that I think is also part of this message today, is about getting out and about connecting, because we had closed ourselves off for a long time. So whether you are connecting with people on Facebook, on Zoom, whether you're getting out and you're connecting to face with people, or you're connecting maybe in a new chat room, or there's lots of ways that we can connect. And I think especially with COVID, a lot of us, we cocooned in. And there was this feeling of, I don't have to deal with people right now, which for some of us was kind of good. But at the same time, to be able to say, I need to connect with new people. I need to put myself back out there and connect and find new communities, maybe people that are different from us, maybe people who are, we tend to flock to the people who are the most like us. So my running partner and I, he moved from California. We don't share the same political beliefs on a lot of things, but we do meet in the middle. And so it's interesting conversations. But at the same time, we're there to run. So there's not a ton of like stopping to get into these big, heavy conversations, because that's not the point of our relationship. We can like people. And I think this is something where we have forgotten, that we can like people and care about people and not love everything about them. There are things that, maybe I don't love about every single person that I care about, and that's okay. So we can care about people and we can love them, even if we don't love everything about them. And so if you have the opportunity to connect with a new group of people that perhaps has an interest, like maybe it's a knitting circle or a cooking class or a dance class, and maybe you don't like every single thing about that person, that's okay. We have lost our ability to, let me say that in a different way. I hear you. We didn't lose it. We allowed to be taken from us our ability to find common ground and our ability to connect and relate to people who don't exactly line up with us. And so now we have been conditioned by social media, by social societal norms, by COVID, by lots of different things. We've been conditioned to seek out the people who exactly line up. And that if they don't line up, nope, can't hang out with you. Nope, you're not my type of person. Nope, 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 nope. And this is a lie that we have been fed. There are people who do things that make me want to scream. There are people, my governor included, who do things that make me, especially my governor, who make me want to pull my hair out. I can't speak to whether he's a good person or a bad person because I don't know him. I only know how he leads by example and the things that he does that makes me feel like we do not align. Awoloki, if you're a spammer, which I bet you are, just leave now, because the second you post something, we're going to ban you from the page. So, you know, and there you go, and you're banned. I tried to tell you. Banned. See you, bye. See, we can see you coming. People are so stupid. I'm sorry. I don't even hate them. I don't hate, I try really hard not to hate anybody, but I'm sorry, they're so stupid because, you know, they come in and they like your comments. And then I can see who liked the comment. And this is Awoloki Ada Ifedeo Priest. I mean, if it was Susie Sunshine or somebody who, you know, follows us, or somebody who was commenting on the program, then we would know that they were already here. And anyway, so what was I saying about hating people? There are people who do things that make me want to scream, that make me want to pull my hair out. If you pull my hair out, make sure it's only the gray hairs. No, they say if you pull the gray hairs out, then more gray hairs will come back. I'll just stick with hair dye. Jamie says, I have found an online community, still very fearful and in therapy for being out in public right now. I get it. And so here's the, thanks, Ms. Lynn. So here's what I have found, Jamie, is I will do all that I can do to keep myself and my family safe. My kids are in their 20s, they come and they go. And honestly, after all of the fuss and stuff of my parents, like worrying about COVID, my parents got COVID last year. And I still am the one person in my household who has never had it. And I laugh because my parents, you know, my mother is a big worrier. God love her. I love my mother, but I love my father too. But my mom is a really big worrier. And so she, you know, they went out and they went to all these outdoor concerts. And then they got COVID. So I have to laugh. So they're actually, you know, probably pretty immunized at this point. Jamie, to try and do the things that are going to make you feel comfortable. So for myself, you know, of course we have hand sanitizer. I keep masks in my purse in case I feel like I need them. I am fully vaccinated. That's my personal choice. I did recently get the new bivalent, whatever, the new vaccine. Got that with my shingles, my first shingles vaccine. Those two just laid me out for a couple of days. But I also have things in my house that you can get on Amazon that are like ultraviolet air purifiers. The UV light is used for cleaning and sanitizing. And so you can get these things that plug into your outlets. And so we have them in all the places in my home. At least one in each room. And if I'm doing a face-to-face session, This is my home. My reading room is in my home, and so I do ask for people to wear a mask if they, if they are feeling any kind of way. And I do have one of these UV sanitizers in my reading room, and you just get them on Amazon. And there were times in the beginning when we had to travel that we had bought them so that we could take them with us to hotels and things like that. So all I can say, Jamie, is I'm glad that you are getting therapy for your needs, and that you have found an online community that is meeting your needs, and that you are working on the things that feel right to you, because there's not nobody should tell you. And this is where I get frustrated, because we are living in a time right now where one person feels that they have the right to mandate for everyone else what choices they should make. So one person can complain to a school board and have a book banned, and one person can, sign a law that says, everybody has to do this or that. It's not COVID, very vaccinated. Being gay in Polk County. The gun laws here in Florida that are going to go into effect on July 1st are very, very frightening. There was a report of somebody's car being fired upon near where I live, just pulling out of the grocery parking lot. Now, I don't know all the details of that, and I don't know what the sports car did or didn't, but I do get it. I do get it. For me personally, and I know this is me personally, anytime I'm going out, it's Pride Month, got my bracelet. Anytime I'm going to Disney or something like that, I'm always wearing an ally shirt, something like that. I want the people at Disney to know, the community stands with them. Last Saturday night, we went to the Performing Arts Center. My nephew was in the Applause Awards, which is all the graduating seniors that were in musicals over the season. It's like the Tony Awards. And so I was wearing my shirt. I have a new shirt. It says, "Be careful who you hate. It might be someone you love." And I was super happy to have that. So, Jamie, you are not alone by any stretch of the imagination. And you do what you need to do to help you feel safe in your community, because there are parts of Florida that are scary as shit. So I get you. And if you're coming up for gay days or for something, shoot me a message. Because we got to be smart. They've signed these laws. I don't want to spend too much time into politics, but they've signed some of these laws that are going to take effect on July 1st. And it is going to be a very different place in Florida. And for those of us who, honor the victims of the Pulse massacre continually, we look at, Florida is home to two of the worst mass shootings in history in the United States, between the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas murders and the Pulse murders. And I think a lot of us are sitting on pins and needles waiting to see if we're going to be home to the third. And, I'm not, again, I don't want to do too much with politics, but I'm not anti-Second Amendment at all, but I am totally pro-responsible gun ownership, and I just don't feel like that's what we're seeing, at least not in my state. So maybe that's the message that I needed to get out, but I do want to circle it back around to hate. That the message on this shirt that I wore on Saturday night, it says, "Be careful who you hate. It may be someone you love." And I think that is, regardless of what thing you want to put in front of it, that hate is not the answer, and that we can find common ground if we're willing to look for it, and that's how we heal our society. Are we going to find common ground with everybody? No. There are always going to be extremists on both sides who are looking for that perfect match. You don't match completely, done. You got to go. And that is, I was pretty impressed, actually, Belinda, especially after the shooting in New Zealand, how things were handled down there. We want to find common ground, but more importantly, we want to not hold that fear, hold that hate, hold that anxiety in our hearts. And Jamie, I feel you, because I mean, I'm Jewish and I wear, a couple of different Jewish pendants, on my necklace. And when we go to Disney, I'm often with, my synagogue leader, who is a big Disney fan, and so we often meet. And, we may be talking about Jewish stuff on the, planes, trains, and monorails and trams and whatever. And I do worry. And so I understand that to a point. And we have had, the Nazis here in the neighborhood. And so I get that. But I still do all that I can to come from that place of love and come from this place of, I don't like what you may be doing, but that doesn't mean you are an evil person or that I hate you. And I feel sad for the people who have been filled with so much rage and hate, because honestly, we know these things are so bad for your health and for your karma and your energy. And how many people that are so filled with hate have health issues. And so we don't want to be with them. I don't want to be filled with health issues that are caused by hate and anger. And because this is literally where cancer grows in the body, is by those things that we hold and we store and we keep and that we fester in the body. And that anger and rage, and especially those things that are unexpressed, that is toxicity, and that turns itself into illness. So while it may not work on a timeline quick enough to give everybody cancer and get them out of the way of, so we can lead with love, it's still not a path I choose to go on. And so when I say, because I want to circle it back to this time of getting out your message, that sometimes the message is something that we need to hear for our own self, that isn't all about, here comes Bella the spearer, just wait, here's coming. It isn't all about us having the message because we need to broadcast it from the rooftops. Sometimes it's about us getting the message out so that we are hearing it for our own selves, and that the people we love are hearing it. And it's a reminder for us. There's Bella Divine, the spammer. She wants to send you palm reading things. Bye, band spammers. I just don't get it. They all do the same thing. They put a heart on your comment, and then I look and see who the heart is, and you just know. You just know. All right, so sometimes the message is about getting that message out for us. All right, so when we keep ourselves, now this is for Jamie, because I truly believe this. Now, my kids played soccer down in Clay County, so I know what it is down there, and you are in my prayers, my friend. But hey, Gina, I ask every single day for my angels, my guides, my loved ones, you got me, right? You got me. So I know that doesn't guarantee I'm not going to suffer, or that nothing bad is ever going to happen to me or to someone I love. But there is this invisibility cloak of protection that I literally feel like I put on because I ask them to be with me. And that keeps me, that knowledge that they are with me, keeps me from being filled with fear, as Belinda was saying. Yesterday, I did the 4.9K on Saturday, and then Sunday, because I thought, since my son was unexpectedly not moving this past weekend, I took a manatee shift, protecting the manatees yesterday, because they were very short-staffed. And so I ended up doing the lower body 3 miles on Saturday, and the upper body I paddled 5 miles on Sunday. But I was literally, before the park opened, I was in the water. I was paddling and checking and doing my job. And there's nobody out there, which is the best time to be there. And paddling through this beautiful place and listening to the birds and I was talking with my loved ones in spirit, and I was talking to them and asking questions, and it's a beautiful way to commune with spirit when you ask the question and you're sitting in a place where you can allow your brain to just be quiet, and you ask the question, and then the thing that pops into your mind, like, that's the answer, right? That's what they're telling you. And we dismiss a lot of that as like, oh, this is my imagination, it's wishful thinking. And I ask myself, I'm like, is that wishful thinking? Because is that, of course that's what I'd like you to say. And then as I'm sitting there, one manatee comes in. And this happens to be one of my favorite manatees. And you've heard me talk about Buckeye before. Now, Buckeye has very specific behaviors. Buckeye comes in, he knows me, he will push my boat around, he will blow, spit all over me. He wants to play. And yesterday, Buck wasn't having it. He swam right underneath my boat. He could have swum anywhere. He literally went right under my boat, and I was like, there he went. So had he gone behind me, I would have missed him. So he went right under my boat, and he normally does not come in on that side of the waterway. He went straight in. He didn't talk to anybody. He didn't meet any of because by now there's people. He didn't meet any of the people. He turned around and he went back out. He didn't play with anybody. It was very un-Buckeye behavior. And I looked up and I said, is that the sign that I was looking for? And I hear, this kind of giggle in my head. And there's been this one guy in a kayak. Like, everybody else, like, kind of swimmers or whatever. But there's one guy in a kayak. And I'm like, can I ask your name, sir? Because I'm thinking to myself, I bet you that's, maybe that was the sign. And, the guy in a kayak came first. And so I asked him, I said, can I ask your name? Because I'm thinking, I bet he has the same name as the person I'm talking to in spirit, and that's going to be my sign, right? And his name was, like, totally different. And I'm like, I guess you're not the sign. And he left, the kayaker, and right after that is when Buckeye came in. And I'm like, and I literally could hear the laughter in my ears. So our job is, when we ask for those signs, when we have the opportunity, we create the opportunity to have this communion, this communication. Our job is to believe what we're being shown, what we're hearing. Because when we ask Spirit a question, we'll get the answer like that. And then immediately we turn around and go, yeah, I'm making that up. Your brain doesn't make that up fast enough. If you were asking yourself a question and you wanted to make up an answer, immediately we're like, okay, well, let me see. If I was going to answer, like, okay, chocolate, vanilla, maybe some walnuts, or, we don't answer that fast. If somebody asked you a question off the cuff, like, what is your favorite ice cream? You might know, but you might have to think about it for a minute. And even if you did know, it wouldn't come in like that. That's spirit. When that knowledge comes into our brain so fast, we've barely finished formulating the question. That's not us. That's them. So, I love those postcards. Yeah, I love those postcards. And I find that being in nature, no surprise, is one of the best ways for us to quiet this and hear from this, right, from the heart. So if you have a place that it's a river or a stream or a park, I'm a big fan of mature trees because I think mature trees are the wisest. Mature trees have their roots, even if they're not deep root trees, they have their roots in the ground. Mature trees have, for me, the best energy. That's why I have mature trees in front of my house that I won't let anybody cut down. So having those mature trees, having that energy, water energy is very cleansing. It's very energizing. Water is very communicative. Water is the emotion center, right? Earth is our grounding. Earth is where we are connecting with Mother Earth. It's wisdom. Air and fire is passion and energy. Passion, we talk about not like romantic passion, but like purpose passion. So you put yourself in the position where you can connect with all the elements. Now, I did not connect with fire. That would be bad in the state park. But to connect with, but the sun was shining, so that's fiery. But putting yourself in the position to receive the energies of the spirit, you know, whether it's the entities of the spirits like the salamanders for fire and the sylphs, I think it's the sylphs that are in the air, and the water sprites, you know, they have all these elementals that are the energetic creatures that live in the different elements of our existence: earth, water, fire. What I missed? Earth, air, water, fire. Yeah, it's 4. So we allow ourselves to connect with those things, and then again, the part of that is to believe what we're being given. Okay. All right, we've talked about this for a long time. So let me pick an animal card. And Tina Roses. Hello, Tina Roses. If you're a spammer, we're going to ban you. Oh, there you are. You're a spammer. Spammer ban. Ban spammer. I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it. Maybe they're using those like heart emojis as like a bookmark or something. I just don't get it. Hi, Pooh Wife. Posh Wife? What does that say? Hello? Pooh Wife. Hello. All right, so we're going to pull an animal card, and we'll pull a couple of cards for the collective, and then we'll get into a couple of personal card readings. So, yeah. You know, last week we didn't, or not last week, but the other week we didn't read. So, you know. Like I've always said, I take the spammers as a compliment that you are so fantastic and awesome that they can't wait to meet you. Oh, wait, here comes another one. Here comes another spammer. It's going to be married. Yep, marry John. Nobody needs to marry John. We're going to ban John. Banned. It's marry, M-A-R-R-Y. So, and it's always the same thing. All right. You know, marry John, you're banned. All right, so this animal spirit card, this is a cat. It says, as it's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. So, and I think that's really interesting because we're talking about creating a new message. We're talking about welcoming in new information. We're talking about sharing our message, right? Sharing, whether we're sharing that message with the world or we're sharing that message just with our own self. We're talking about moving out and moving forward in a new direction. We're talking about embracing this thing that's inside of us that we want to share and to get it out, whether we're sharing it with lots or we're sharing it with a few. So, you know, cat energy is so good because here's the thing about cat energy. Cats are so intuitive. They are so spiritually connected. They may not look like it, but they are so spiritually connected. All right, let's see who's... Okay, let's see. I always kind of put my hand over the card decks to see who we want to connect with. They're not naughty. I say that, and I looked on my dining table because I have a beautiful clock that hangs on my wall with a second hand, and I put the clock on the dining table because they're going to do the roof. And we took everything down that might be at risk of falling when they start banging on my roof in the next couple of days. And sassy, I'll definitely say sassy. And so anything that wasn't securely affixed to the wall, we took down. And so I noticed this morning on my dining table, the second hand on my clock has been kitten chewed. So I have a kitten. Well, he's like 2 now, but he is naughty, and he's definitely mischievous. And so I can see that he was probably chasing the second hand on the clock, and that yeah, it's got little kitten teeth on it. So it's got little beds in it. So, all right. So Pooh Wife on Instagram said, Pooh's wife says, Pooh like Winnie the Pooh, one of my favorites, is what I call my late husband. Okay, I call him Pooh. Well, we send you lots of love for that. So thank you, Chris, for sharing. We will do the collective card reading, and then we'll switch over to the individual cards. So she is right. So I'm picking today the messages from the guides. These are James Van Prague's cards. I really like these, and we haven't used them in a couple weeks. And oh look, Mary is like, a lot of people want to get married today. So you're banned, Liz Mary, because you're a spammer. You're a spammer. Oh, that's so sweet, Brenda. A naughty, sassy, spirited cat who's 12. That's awesome. I had a very sweet, not naughty, but gosh, Jake was probably 18 when he left us. So, all right, so we're going to use the James Van Prague messages from Spirit, because I haven't used these cards in a couple weeks, and they were really calling to me today. And, sorry, Instagram. Stuck back up on my computer, Instagram, folks. Sorry. Okay, so, I love these. I know for a cat, he was really old. I love these cards because they become very, they're very egocentric. I don't mean that like, it's all about me. But these cards, because they're messages from Spirit, they are really channeled to be direct communication to the recipient. So this is the first one that comes up, is release toxic relationships. And, this is something we have been talking about. And as we are still in that full moon energy, and you can see this is, red and hot pink, you have this passion colors and this darkness, but there's the light. Where is the light and the darkness? And so this is that we're not alone, and that we are supported by the light and the darkness. There's always a light in the darkness, and I want to send that actually back to Jamie for our conversation earlier. There is always a light in the darkness. So, and here's the other thing, is it's up to us to be the light in the darkness for each other and for others, so that we are being the light in the darkness for, again, not necessarily those people who line right up with us where their values are exactly the same and we fit, but maybe the people are just a little bit off. We don't have to agree on everything. We can still be the light in the darkness for others, and that's super important. So yes, there is light in the darkness. All right, so the second card for our collective reading is going to be possess self-confidence. Possess self-confidence. This is a reminder. We're saying, let go of toxic people. Know you're not alone. And we've been talking about this connection with Spirit, the connection with our guides, and how to connect with them more securely, and how to listen and not dismiss the things that they have to say to us as ego or imagination or wishful thinking. This is part of that, is, the spammers are naughty. But this is about possessing self-confidence. Part of that self-confidence is knowing, again, we're not alone. There is a light in the darkness, that we are connected. We have that cloak of invisibility, that cloak of invisible protection that's around us, that comes from knowing that we have the support system in place over there. And so this gives us confidence. And look, we are so grounded in, look, there's the pink and the blue of the higher chakras, and then we have the orange and the yellow, the sacral and the solar plexus chakras. That is the reminding us to stay connected. So they're telling us, right, we stay in our third eye and our crown chakra, and we bring it right down into that energy, that connection. We bring that right down into the solar plexus and the sacral chakra, of the solar plexus of how we think about ourselves and how we relate to other people, and that sacral chakra, how we ground into ourselves. So this is reminding us, we release the toxic people and we connect more with Spirit, and we ground ourselves into the love and the protection that we get, that we have from that light in the darkness. So I love that. Ooh, a jumper card. It's hard, Belinda, to let go of unhealthy relationships. It's hard because there's something in there that we needed for a period of time. And if we let go of that, it's like a lifeboat. If we hold on to the lifeboat and we let go one hand, where's that hand going to go? And can we reach to the next thing before we let go of this thing, or do we have to take that leap of faith? And a lot of times we have to take that leap of faith. I have talked to you before about that I ended the relationship with, my childhood best friend. It just got to be toxic, and I just couldn't be in that space anymore. That doesn't mean I don't love her. That I don't love her family, her mother, her children. I think of them every day, but I'm not like, oh, look, there's Robin Gipp, there is a spammer. So you are banned. Spammers are banned immediately. Bye-bye. That doesn't mean I don't love them. That doesn't mean that I don't care what happens to them. I do, but I don't want or need them in my immediate vicinity because it's not healthy for me. and it serves no benefit. If I were to rekindle that relationship, would there be anything different? Probably not. Would there be anything that I would receive, a blessing or a benefit, which sounds selfish, but I don't mean it to sound that way. But if I'm going to give, is that going to be sucked out, or is there reciprocal energy? And if the answer is no, why would you hook back into that? But it doesn't mean we don't care. It doesn't mean we don't still love those people. But for me, it was really a question of, is this worth what negativity is going to come on me in order to keep that door open? It is very hard, but it is very freeing to let go of toxic people. So, Belinda, this is the third card. And notice that it has the same colors that we just had. And it says, accept struggles as lessons. Now, there you go. We're releasing toxic people. We are staying connected to Spirit, and we're building into that confidence. We're building our relationship with Spirit. We're having confidence that we're not alone. We're having confidence that we are not having to carry the load by ourselves. And we are accepting struggles as lessons. Because I will tell you, here's the other thing for Belinda and for everyone else. Here's the other thing. When you do it once, it's hard. When you take the next person out of your toxic person out of your space, you are lighter. And the next toxic person comes in your space and you're like, oh, no, we're not having that. And it becomes so much easier to keep your house clean. Your house, it becomes much easier because you no longer have that skewed view. You no longer have this toxicity in your ears. You no longer have this skewed perspective that says, oh, well, you should because, that's benefiting me and, whatever, taking advantage of you. When you can take that out of your ear, out of your eye, out of your heart, you have taken that toxic relationship. The first one is going to be hard. But when you go forward, the next person that tries to play you like that, or the next person, because you've taken off that, it's like wearing sunglasses that are too dark. Oh, Anu Kahindi, you're a spammer. You're banned. Banned. Goodbye. It's like wearing sunglasses that are too dark. If you're a spammer, just leave now because we're going to ban you. It's that simple. Zero tolerance. So it's like if you have sunglasses on that are too dark, or the sunglasses are on and it's cloudy and you can't see, and then you take the sunglasses off, now you can see with a different perspective. So we stick into that, we hold on to that, because when we take somebody who is toxic and we remove that relationship from our lives, and then we are able to see more clearly the next toxicity that comes in our space that tries to play the same game, we say, oh, I see this more clearly now. Either I'm going to protect myself by not letting this person get too close and not letting them have that full access that the first person had, or I'm simply going to just turn and go, and I'm going to just close that relationship and just maybe I'm not returning phone calls, maybe I'm not available to go to lunch or whatever it was that is going on. I'm not going to give myself openly to that next relationship. So while it is hard, the first one is harder, and then the next one is easier, because we start to feel that shift in ourselves once that poison is not in us. It's not around us. We're not swimming in it. And the next person that comes in that is that carrying that toxicity, we can say, we see it more clearly and we can protect ourselves and act more quickly. So Belinda, it is draining and it is hard, and you have my love and my compassion and my support completely. But I'm going to tell you, you do it, you will find it easier to go forward, not only because you are healthier and stronger and no longer having this weight pulling on you, but you will see it coming next time. You will see it coming, and you will be much more able to say, no, go, just go. Okay. All right. So, we accept the struggles as lessons. All right. So let's pull one more card. I know I usually do 3, but something's feeling like I need to pull one more card there. And then we're going to move into the individual reading. So If you're a spammer, just go now because we're going to block you. We're going to ban you immediately. And also for those of you who may be watching later or watching the replay, I do turn off the comments so that the spammers can't hassle you after. Especially a day like today, we're having so many. Then I do turn off the comments so that they can't, just reach out to you and invade your space. Okay. So this is the last card, for the collective reading. This is Inspire Others. Because you know what? Jamie, when you show up as your authentic self, you inspire others. You inspire me. Belinda, when you break those ties and you set yourself free, you're going to inspire others to do the same. I can speak about my situation because I have broken ties with 2 super toxic relationships. One was a narcissist and energy vampire. The other, a knowing manipulator. The other one was an unknowing, passive-aggressive, not an unknowing manipulator who was just starving like an energy sucker. So it wasn't, yes, there was manipulation, but there was so much more about gasping for air and starving and her needing that energy rather than understanding how to get it for herself, from herself, or from a healthier source. And for me, trying to be able to connect that hose into a healthier space in light and not in me. So once we survive and we learn from these experiences, we share with others. And so it's not just about the toxic relationships. It's about sharing with others about how we connect in with spirit. It's sharing with others that message that we were talking about, that whether we are just saying that message to come out into our ears, into the hippocampus for ourselves, or for its because the person we inspire might just be ourselves, and that's okay too. But all of this is collective, right? That we are building that confidence, we are releasing toxic people, we are connecting ourselves into spirit, and we are taking struggles as lessons, and then we're taking what we've learned and we're sharing it with others. We're sharing it with others. Look at all these beautiful rays of light coming off in every single direction. We're sharing with others. Okay? All right, so I'm going to say this one more time. If you are a spammer, leave now, because I will ban you the second you make a comment. Okay. It's not funny that everyone's relating so hard to this group of cards. It's exactly the cards that you were supposed to have gotten. That's just why when I put my hand out, I have several boxes on my desk and I go, oh, this is the cards we want to work with today. Clearly these are the right ones because that's what they told me to do. So also, I saw the number of the people just dropped right off, so I think our spammers have left. All right. So here's how it works for individual card readings. If you would like, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, if you would like an individual card reading, here's how this works. And we're a little bit late on time because we talked for a long time today, which is, I guess, where they wanted us to be. So here's how it works. Hi, Delora. Welcome. This is how it works for individual cards. When I say, not yet, when I say, if you would like a card reading, I want you to put in the comments, card please, or me please, something. Don't just say hi. Don't just say, okay. You have to specifically say to me, I want a card somehow. Hey, listen, you all jumpers. Wait. Okay. Please only put in the comment one time because I will go in the order. Okay. And if I seem like I skipped you, please let me know in the comments, but just once. Because the order that the comments show up for me might not be the way the comments show up for you. Okay? So I am going to start with Instagram because poor Gina, she shows up every week and always she gets up, has to wait for the end. So I'm going to get Gina. Gina gets to go first today. So, all right. And again, if you're a spammer, just go because I'm going to ban you the minute you pop in and start talking to people. So, these cards don't go upside down, okay? So, Gina, this card says kindness counts. This card says kindness counts. And the thing that I want to talk about with this card is being kind to yourself. You being kind to yourself. It's not talking about you being kind to other people. It's also this reminder of being kind to yourself, okay? And look, it's all this blue, this deep blue third eye and into the crown chakra, staying connected to yourself and reminding yourself it's okay to be kind to you, my friend. Okay, so this card is for everybody, but also this card is for Gina on Instagram. Okay, So we will scooch back over to Facebook and start pulling some individual cards for you. And again, if you're a spammer, just go, because I'm going to ban you. It's that simple. Zero tolerance for spammers. Zero. All right, so you're welcome, Jamie. And Blondie, yes, it is definitely about loving ourselves more. Okay, so we're going to start with Belinda and then Julie Parsons. And then we'll keep going. So Belinda, so this card is like attracts like. So Belinda, I love that this card is for you because, you know, we were just talking about toxic relationships. And so when you, and I was encouraging you to, you know, take care of yourself, because when you do that, then you are going to be stronger to go forward to keep your energy protected and your space clean for the next time. But as you're raising your own vibration that way, like attract like, my friend. So as you're doing that, you're going to be vibrating with better people. You're no longer going to be attracting these people who are energy suckers. You're going to be attracting, oh gosh, I'm sorry, Instagram. I'm so sorry, Instagram. I got to try and do something different with this phone, keeps falling off. So as you are doing that, Belinda, you are going to be, you're going to be raising your own vibration. You're going to be vibrating at a higher place, and you're going to be not only more able to spot the bullshit ahead of time, but you're no longer going to be attracting those people who are coming into your energy and feeling like, ooh, she's vulnerable, I can take advantage of this. So like attracts like. Belinda, this is the card for you, and I love this. And this is, you know, all the cards are really for everyone. But I love that this came up for you because it's literally exactly what we were just talking about. The more you can clean that energetic house of what's around you, what's being allowed to be inside of you, the more you're going to be attracting better stuff. And the less you're going to be attracting the lower vibration stuff. Because when we are low vibration, we're beacons. We're all beacons. All of us. We are energetic beacons. So we are constantly sending our energy signal out into the world. And other people who are resonating with our energy signal are going to be attracted. But there are other people who are hunting for those energy signals that are low vibration. It's like hunting and finding a wounded animal and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna, take this one. It's an easy kill. It's an easy, whatever. Put it out of its misery. Take advantage of it. Take it home and put it in a cage and make it be my pet." So when we have low vibration, this is part of that. So when we have higher vibration, we are no longer. When I was fighting with my energy vampire, the minute I started to stand up for myself and say, I don't want to play this game anymore, was the minute he turned and went. He was like, done. And literally would not, ghosted me, totally ghosted, wouldn't even speak to me, wouldn't even look at me when we passed on the street. Acted like he didn't see me, and didn't know who I was, anything, because the thing that a narcissist hates is somebody who can stand for themselves and free think for themselves. So that raised my vibration. All of a sudden he's like, done. Okay, so that like attract like is really important. Okay, patience is a virtue. This is for, this is for Julie. Julie, patience is a virtue. So I'm not sure exactly what this has in store for you, Julie, but it feels like there's something you're working on that isn't happening as fast as you want. This doesn't feel like it has to do with somebody else. Like, this feels like it's about something you are doing, something you are working on, as opposed to waiting on someone else to shift something for you. So I'm not sure if this makes sense, but this feels like it is reminding you that, I feel like this is reminding you that A, you have more power in the situation than you think to create things to happen, and B, that the universe is putting things in motion, that it is happening on your behalf, maybe even though it may not be happening on your timeline, that the cogs of the universe are moving, they may not be moving as fast as you want them to, but you do have some control in this situation. So I want to say that. Oh, it totally makes sense. That's great. I'm glad. It doesn't matter if it makes sense to me. It just has to make sense for you all. So that's the other thing is as I get to your turn, to make sure if you have a specific question to have that question in your mind so the cards will come up that way for you. So, okay. Mimi's Cozy Kitchen. And then Brenda. Okay, Mimi and then Brenda. So, Mimi. Julie says, I'm battling finding me right now. Keep battling. Keep battling. It is so worth the fight. Oh my goodness, it is so worth the fight. To find your truest self and to find that place where you're living as your most authentic self, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Mimi. Interesting. Patience is a virtue. Comes up again. I'm going to pull another card for Mimi just in case. Appreciate your talents, Mimi. Appreciate your talents. This is all about orange and sacral chakra and solar plexus chakra. This is orange and yellow. So this is, and so interesting, especially on Jamie's comments of finding her own true self, their own true self. So Mimi, this is so much about getting to know yourself and honoring the truth of who you are and owning the awesomeness that is you. Appreciating your talents is all about owning your own awesomeness, owning the awesomeness of you. What is it about you that is so fantastic that other people would want to know you and that would be lucky to know you? And don't say nothing, because even if you brushed your teeth today, that counts. Sometimes when we're battling, the most we can say about what makes us, worth knowing is, I took a shower. I mean, when I was battling deep depression and when I was a mom of 2 little kids, man, the best thing I could say was, I took a shower today. And sometimes that was it. But we stop and think about, I am a good person. You are a good person. You bring light to the world. It might be a little light. It might be a giant light. But appreciating the things about us that are awesome is part of how we, raise our vibration, stop attracting negativity, we move ourselves forward, we build that relationship with spirit, and we build our confidence, and we build our strength and our health, we build our power, we appreciate the things about us that are awesome. And sometimes that is so hard to look in the mirror and say something about ourselves that is awesome. And so, Mimi's Cozy Kitchen, if you are struggling with remembering why you're freaking awesome, ask. I'm sure these amazing people will be delighted to share some insights. But at the same time, take some time to look in the mirror and to say, this is something I like about myself. And then try to add to the list every day. It's not easy to look ourselves in the eye. Sometimes it's really hard to look ourselves in the eye. And so I want to tell you, that's where we start. We start by loving ourselves. We start by loving ourselves and reminding ourselves what's so awesome about us, why other people should love us, and if they don't appreciate us, they can go away. Okay? We can still love them. We just love them way the heck over there. Right? All right. You are welcome, my friend. You are welcome. All right, so Brenda, and then Jamie. Brenda. Understand your body. Brenda, what is going on? What health things are you ignoring? Look at all this green. This is all heart energy. This is all health energy. So what is it that you are ignoring? What things, are you pushing yourself too hard, Brenda? Because I'm hearing this in my head this morning. Part of the conversation I had with my running partner was, making sure that we listen to the body, and I was like, for me, that is an absolute must. I have learned I must listen to my body, both with the energetics and the physical things. If my body's not starting to feel right when we run, I'm like, nope, I gotta walk. Even if it's just for like 10 yards, I gotta walk. Listening to your body. And so, what is it that you may be ignoring? What is it, Brenda, that you are not paying attention to, not listening to the body, not tuning in, not loving the body, not getting enough sleep, not eating the right foods, or eating too much of the wrong foods. I don't like to say eating the right foods because who knows what that is. For us, we make those decisions for ourselves, but maybe we're eating too much of the wrong foods. Drinking enough water. Dehydration is a major thing, especially as we get older, especially for women as we get older. Dehydration can lead to urinary tract infections, which can lead to disorientation and symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia. So being hydrated, all those kind of things, is really, really important. Julia's off to bed. You are welcome, my friend. Okay, there you go, Brenda. All right, who is next after Brenda is Jamie. All right. And then Delora. All right, Jamie. Jamie, I'm proud of you because you did. Express your feelings. Express your feelings. This is really important. You be you, okay? And you shared some really raw and honest stuff today in a safe space, and we love you, and I'm proud of you, and uh-oh, I just missed a, who's, wait, let me go back. Oh my God, I'm battling cancer, not ignoring anything. Okay. Wow, Brenda, I'm so sorry that you are having this cancer journey, but I am so glad that you're not ignoring anything. So take this card as the meaning of really tuning into the body. What does the body need? It's good that you're cutting sugar. Cancer feeds on sugar, so that's good that you're cutting that. So, and we will all be praying for you. All right, so let me come back to Jamie. Just you know that you are in a safe space. You are learning to find your safe spaces, and that is really, really important. So in those places where it feels like you can express your true feelings, build your inner circle of the people that you can trust, that you can count on, the people that you can be your most authentic self with, because you'll build confidence in that, and then you'll be able to expand that circle, and you'll be able to take that confidence out and to share it with others, and you'll be able to help other people to learn as well. Brenda, it absolutely is a journey, and that there is good in it as well. I have heard that from every single person that I have worked with who's dealt with cancer. So I love your attitude, Brenda, because that is the attitude of health. And I love that the card that we pulled for you was all green, because that is all the heart, that is all health. So that is a monumentally positive sign that you are winning your walking the journey. I don't like to talk about it as a war or a battle when people are talking about cancer, because it's a negative imagery, but you are walking your journey well, and you are walking your journey towards health. That is the most important, that you are walking your journey towards health. So you are absolutely in my prayers. All of you are. You always are. All of you. Okay, so let me go back up. And so where we were, we had Jamie. Okay, so Delora, and then Meslin, and Michelle, and Chris. All right. Okay, so where did I just go? Okay, I always scroll down the comments to make sure that we are keeping you all clean and safe. Delora, live your bliss, Delora. Look at all this orange and green. So green, again, health and wellness and love, the love energy, the green, the heart chakra. Delora, live your bliss, and this is orange. Right in the center is orange, which is your solar sacral chakra. That is all about sexual pleasure and joy and emotional. We put the green and orange together, you have this emotional relationship happiness. And so Delora, this is all about having a positive relationship with self and doing the things, embracing the things that make you happy. So I feel like you are on that track. I feel like you have been more committed to that. I feel like you have been rediscovering the things that make Delora happy. So this is confirmation for you, and that you are on the right track, because I feel like you have been moving in that direction. I feel like that was a directional shift for you. And so there's joy in that. And there's pride in that. This is, yeah, I'm living my bliss. Yeah, I'm going in my best life. Yes, I'm working on building my best life. And that is the applause that wants to come in for you. Is that it's not so much as a direction, this card, live your bliss, or a command. It's more like a celebration. Live your bliss. Live your bliss. It's a celebration and a confirmation is how I'm feeling this card coming in for you. All right. Abundance and bliss, absolutely. All right, so after Dora, we have Miss Lynn. All right. And then Michelle. All right, so Miss Lynn. All right. That also said live your bliss. So I'm going to pull another card just for the sake. Know your truth. Know your truth. So make sure that you're seeing the truth of the situation. You're seeing yourself true in the situation. Don't let your head be turned by somebody else who may not have your best interest at heart. You know that, feel the truth of the situation for you and allow yourself to get clear on your own decisions before you bring that to the table. So know your truth, know how you feel about the situation, and look at all these colors. You've got the blue and the purple about the sacral solar ajna, third eye, and the crown chakra, but then you've also got this grounding colors of the orange and the yellow. So know your own mind first before you start sharing that with others, and before you start asking other people's opinions. Know where you feel, how you feel, where you feel first, and then you'll be able to make the best decisions by because it does feel like it's decision related, but knowing how you are feeling about the situation first, okay? And then that's not to say that your mind couldn't be changed, or that your feeling couldn't be, like, getting more information might, cause you to shift how you feel, but know where you're starting from, where it feels right for you first, right? Okay, Michelle Krantz is going to be next. And then Chris. Buddy. The dog is over there, like, snarfling himself. Look, all yours. No. All right, Michelle. Set your intentions. Michelle, where are you going? What are you doing? What's the situation? What's going on? So, feels like new directions for you, Michelle, but it also feels like maybe you're not quite sure what that means. And to they're showing me this sort of like bobbing on the water. Like, okay, I got through all that. I'm not really sure where I'm going next. I'm not really sure what am I supposed to want? What do I want to want? And there's big difference in those two questions, right? Because it's very common for us to be like, well, what am I supposed to want next? And they're talking about like, no, what do you want to want? So know yourself, know where you choose to go, not where somebody else is saying that you ought to go, where you choose to go. What's next for Michelle should be Michelle's decision. That should come from Michelle's heart, right? There's not a wrong answer in there, my friend. There's just not a wrong answer. Okay, Chris Jed, and then Jamie has had some changes. Chris and Jamie. Chris, you also set your intentions, but as that was the top card, it might not be. So we're going to pull a second one. Follow the golden rule. Follow the golden rule. Okay, this is... Okay, this is not... Okay. This is not... It says do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You're welcome, Miss Lynn. You're welcome, Michelle. But that's not what I'm hearing in my head, Chris. The golden rule. But it's like I'm hearing it. You know it when you like run a record in reverse, old enough to know what a record is, and you run a record in reverse, and it goes. That's literally what I hear in my head right now. And so it's not do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's do unto you as you would have others do unto you as well. That means being nicer to yourself. That means you are following the golden rule of how Chris gets to be treated. Chris gets to say how she wants to be treated. Chris gets to say, this is what I expect of the people around me who are going to treat me well, or they're not going to be around me as long. And so this is all about that, clearing out toxic relationships that we were talking about before. But this is about saying, I'm going to treat myself how I want others to treat me, because I am modeling that. I'm setting that example of this is how I want people to treat me. And when I treat myself the way I want others to treat me, then they will get the hint and they will treat me in that way as well. But it has to start with me, where I'm treating myself well. Okay? And that could be how you speak to yourself and about yourself, how you speak about yourself to others, how you treat yourself with food and nutrition and sleep and those things. Because I feel like it's easy to speak unwell and dispositively, which I know is not a word, but I don't want to say negatively, but to speak dispositively about self. And so I want to really encourage you to speak positively about self. And I know right now is kind of a harder time, but I feel like that has something to do with that, because I know we've lost our precious loved one, that when we're lower energy, we have the ability to reform as we build ourselves back up again. It's like that image of something is melting and then it comes back up. So this is the opportunity to come back up in a new way. So hopefully, if that makes sense. Okay, Jamie. And Belinda said thank you. Julie said totally makes sense. Okay, Jamie has had some changes in their life. And so we have inspire others. So Jamie, take the things that you have learned and share them with others. It could literally be that you've learned not to trust that person. It could be that you've learned that that's a good lawn guy and that's, not a good lawn guy, something like that. So it doesn't, let's try not to judge the lessons of what we've learned. Like, oh, nobody wants to hear about that. Baloney. Okay, so this is really important about taking and sharing with others the things you have learned. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about sometimes we need to say the things so our ears can hear the things, so that the hippocampus can relate and record, and the hippocampus can don't pause that. Okay. Sorry, my phone is running out of battery. So we'll have to wrap this up pretty soon because oh, okay, I got you. Okay, so, sorry, my phone just was like, hey, low battery warning. Okay, so we say the things so that the ears can hear it, so that the hippocampus can record it, and we say, oh yes, I needed to hear that. So when you're inspiring others and you're sharing your wisdom with others, it doesn't have to be some monumental, profound thing. You're just sharing the things that you're sharing. Okay? All right, let me see if I can deal with my phone here. I'll stop that. You should know I don't want to end the video, but I do want to turn off the battery. Oh, I'm down to 10%. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to let Instagram go because we're down to 10%. All right, so I'm sorry, Instagram, we're going to let you all go. All right, we're going to end the video because I realized my phone was down to 10%, and that is bad. Okay. All right, so we have talked about, these are comments. All right, so Maria. All right, and Chris says, hi comment, holy fuck, did I need to hear that? Thank you so much. You are very, very welcome. All right, so we are, all right, so we are probably going to have to cut it off. Maria, okay. So Maria, card for Maria, Brutish, and Mommy. This card for you is let go of ego. So let go of ego. So, and I don't feel like it's about Maria. It's not like, oh, I'm being all of that. It's not about that. But it is about making decisions from a place of I would never do that, or I wouldn't do that. Or it's making decisions from that left brain instead of allowing yourself to make the decisions from your heart or from your guts, from your solar plexus, from your guts. Feel it instead of trying to left brain know it, right? So for the decisions that are coming in your way, Maria, ask, how does it feel, as opposed to what will other people think about the decisions that you're making. And let's go from there. Okay, let's go from there. All right, so you are welcome, Jamie. You are welcome, Brenda, Shawana, Delora, and hello. How are you, Angela Rose? You are welcome, Maria. Oh, you are welcome, Jamie. And maybe you just were supposed to get two. All right, and Angela Rose. Love is your energy, Angela Rose. Love is your energy. Look at all that blue and purple and pink. Love is your energy. Love is your energy. And honestly, love is the energy for all of us. Love is the absolute best, most fabulous, wonderful energy for all of us. And I would like to point out that, isn't it so interesting that once we got started with the individual card readings, all the spammers went away. Love that. Thanks all the people. Thanks all of them. All right, we're going to pull one more card for the collective to finish. And then we will say good night for, I love this one. Possess self-confidence. Possess self-confidence. And look, you've got, again, this purple and blue and this yellow and orange, right? We stay connected into spirit. We stay grounded in ourselves, grounded in our bodies, and then we are connected, and we know that we are in a good way, right? We stay connected as above, as below. We stay connected. All right, Velcinia. All right, we'll pull one card for Velcinia as a quick welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Make each day count. Look at all that gorgeous green love and health energy colors around that. Make each day count. So Velcinia, this really feels like there's it feels like stepping out is a little bit challenging for you, so I want to encourage you to try something new, like just to allow yourself to take, even those baby steps forward are still steps forward. So allow yourself to be seen, allow yourself to step forward to try something new. All right, we're going to end it there. Oh, I'm so glad. You are all so appreciated right back. Thank you so much for taking time to be, oh, this was a long one today. Thank you to make up for last Monday, right? Thank you for being with us. Thank you for coming to be part of our circle. And as always, please remember how very much you are loved. Mwah. We'll see you hopefully Thursday, if not next Monday.